You are listening to the Hello Sport Podcast.
Welcome back to another episode of the Hello Sport Podcast. I'm Von Qualified Opinion and Unwavering Bias. Coming to you, well, from all across the beautiful planet that we inhabit, known as planet Earth. Eddy, yeah, I believe in LA, but fuck, it wouldn't shock me if he was somewhere else. I'm in
Kids somewhere
Drizzly, Bondi. Toddler's in the Drizzly Hills District. Dio Dave joining us from the Drizzly Alexandria region, the Hello Sport Shane Keith Production Centre of Excellence. But we're all united by one thing, and that's the internet, which, you know, you may argue from the moment it was invented is leading to the impending demise of our species generally. Like that may be true, or maybe not. I don't know. There's a lot going on. Obviously, you're on holidays. No one else is. Everyone else is working. You're on holidays. There's heaps going on here. You're on holidays, and we just want to know. Like, so obviously, there's things to talk about. Like from here, obviously, in a very specific like Hello Sport world, but also sporting world. But then obviously, you're on holidays. So how is it, mate?
I am on holidays, Tom. You're absolutely right. Well done for getting that correct. Great start to the podcast.
Thank you.
I am fucking terrific. I find myself in Mexico City. I've just arrived. And I've just had fucking tacos, and they were unbelievable. And quesadillas. And like potatoes. I don't know
Potatoes,
what to go with potatoes is. I don't know. Potatoes aren't, I wouldn't say Mexican food. When I think potatoes, I think Irish people, you know what I mean? So I don't know what
Is it racist to attribute potatoes to Irish, but like not racist to attribute tacos to Mexico? Do you know what I mean? You know, like
that's probably it's probably a question for Dio and Dave. You know what I mean? So you wade through these murky waters. I don't know what you can attribute to what, but know this, punters and dribblers. I've been in Mexico City all of an hour, and 90% of the food I've seen has been tacos. So make of that what you will. Don't judge.
How were they?
Just telling you, just relaying information. They were fucking great, Tom. Can I be honest with you, mate? I was thinking about you during the meal, thinking Tom would like this. Tom would like these tacos.
I appreciate that. I would have liked it.
I don't know. I was having a really nice time eating my fucking tacos, and I thought of me old mate Tommy Burns, the son of an Aussie.
Soft shell?
Yeah, bro.
Yeah.
Tortilla, like a flowery tortilla.
Like a wrap.
You know what I'm saying?
I know,
like a wrap. Yeah.
But dude, when we were coming up, I don't know if this is just me here, but when we were coming up, tacos were shell. And then
they were shells. You couldn't get a soft taco. You couldn't get a soft taco.
It wasn't even in the fucking. It wasn't a lexicon. There was no like, oh, this is a soft shell taco. Like, didn't happen. And then one day, fucking without any consultation with me, as far as I'm concerned, soft shell tacos became a thing. I'm not complaining. I love them. I actually prefer them. But it seems like you can just make shit up these days and just go, oh no, this is what this is now.
Well, I wonder whether our friends, the Mexicans, Tom, dear friends,
cherished
obviously
friends.
They're playing host to me now. I'd like to see the data on how many Mexican friends we have. If indeed you are listening from Mexico, shout out to you. I wonder if they always believed in soft shell tacos, Tom, and it was Australia that fucked it from the jump. With the crispy shelled ones, which were great, by the way, but they were a mongrel to eat and remain a mongrel to eat.
Well, it wasn't abnormal for an errant shard of hard shell taco to find itself lodged within the roof of your mouth, requiring either mum with the tweezers or a surgeon or, some sort of reconstructive surgery. It wasn't beyond the pale to have that sort of a thing happen to you. The soft shell just, it just made life a lot easier.
From my research here, it does seem like soft taco shells are the more authentic and were the first before hard shells came along.
So almost
you can be sure of two things.
So you carry on there, Eddie. We are dealing with minor lag here, punters and dribblers, and
we are. I was going to say, punters and dribblers. You can be sure of two things when eating a hard shell taco. there will be blood of some description. You're going to cut yourself. Yep. It's going to happen. In
Starring
the mouth,
Daniel
obviously.
Day-Lewis. That's what that movie was about.
Starring Daniel... eating tacos. Fucking
him eating
hard-shelled tacos. Yeah. There will be blood, 100%. The other guarantee... Sure. Yeah, he did. He won an Oscar. He won the Oscar for his portrayal of a Mexican man who went to Australia and ate fucking hard-shell tacos and thought, what the fuck are these? The second one with the hard-shell taco punters and dribblers is that you know for sure that you're losing at least 50% of that thing onto the plate.
Yep.
If not higher. I mean, I've had hard-shell tacos where we're working with 70, 80% on the fucking... onto the plate, then you got to get the spoon, you got to get the fork, or you just dive right in with the hands. But you lose.
There's no way of shoring up the structural integrity of the base end of your taco. And obviously, who knows which end? Like both ends of the arse end of the thing. You know what I mean? Whereas at least with a soft shell, you have the ability to wrap and fold and secure. Now, obviously, depending on what meat you're consuming, let's say it's a mince meat where there's a bit more, say maybe. Liquid that lives within the mince, or a pulled pork, for example, like I had the other day, that obviously has an ability to soak through a soft shell taco and fuck the whole thing for you as well. But it's just much more secure on the whole.
Much more secure. You make a great point, because you can fold the arse of a soft shell. You can fold itself back on itself and you're home and hose. But I get the feeling, Tom, if I'm just to run an eye over your operation, generally speaking, is that you probably look to put more into the taco than the taco can withstand. Is that probably...
Well, now this is... you can spin this whichever way you want, that I'm putting too much into the more than the taco can hold, or do I have too much faith in the taco and I'm being let down? Like, maybe that's more what it is, that the taco isn't holding up to the fucking standards that it's set for itself. And maybe, but you could obviously argue that I am putting significantly too much, and maybe I'm looking to now, much like when you're rolling a joint with tally hose, I'm looking to lick and join tacos together to extend the overall size of my taco, my floor space, if you will.
Can we fucking flesh this out for a second and hang with me, brothers and dribblers?
Yeah.
Much like rolling a joint with the tally hose, you're licking them, you're putting them together. What if you were to put some cheese on there and then grill it quickly? It melts and you've fucking stuck them together. Now you're talking.
There you go. That's a pothead's taco right there. And speaking of potheads, here is my 2-year-old. Say hello.
Hello. Hello, Zozo.
Now, I did try to time this conversation that we're all having with, would you call it a matinee screening of Peppa Pig's greatest hits? I have them literally just on all fucking day. Well, not all day. I've just whacked them on just as we've come on here, hoping that this can maintain their attention. But Zoe literally has just climbed in there. She climbed up the grate and then opened the door handle, which you see right there, and then just swung into the fucking room. But she's gone, so fingers crossed. Back to more important things than my daughter's ability to break into a room, and that is one's ability to extend the floor space of a soft shell taco. I don't think... Well, you know what else? You know how it seems like I'm sitting back a little bit too much here. It's like these talking tacos get me a bit too toey. I need to fucking sit up. Every couple of weeks, right, or every couple of years even, I get it.
Well, hang on. Every couple of weeks or every couple of years? Which one?
Well, I corrected myself. I correct the latter, because not every couple of weeks, because that just wouldn't be smart business. I'd say every couple of years. Yeah. Maybe once every year, but I'm saying every couple of years. Your old El Paso, business, whoever's making the business decisions at old El Paso is constantly looking for ways to change the game, right? So we started in Australia with the hard shell. We then went to soft shell, and we haven't looked back. But then they had the hard shell flat bottom, so it would sit up. So, like, you know,
Yes.
because it was a rounded bottom, the hard
Yes.
shell, and it would just flip-flop all over the joint unless you had something to secure it. Then they went
Well, that's where they brought in the taco holder. They brought the taco
Yes.
holder in, which was the
because we're
step
looking at ways to
before
diversify.
the flat-bottomed. Yes.
Then, Eddie, I don't know if you've seen this, there's now a taco cone. So it's basically like the rolled burrito, it's like the rolled taco, but just a hard shell cone. It's like an ice cream cone for meat and shit. Like, it's degenerate in its appearance, but in its functionality, it is a stroke of genius. So I'm wondering whether the next one could be some sort of a kit that allows you this ability to extend, give you like square soft shell tacos that you can either cheese together, or maybe give yourself like a bit of a sewing kit and some more structurally like some sturdy cheese that you could like sew this bitch together with.
Well, you're not far off, Tom. I'm just on I'm on the Old El Paso website right now. There is one you've missed out. They've got a stand and stuffed soft tortilla boat. So a soft tortilla that's like more flat and almost like a burrito bowl. It's giving you like this kind of, so it's not long ways like the burrito pocket, but it's a lot flat, but still has the edge. So it's a pre-made burrito bowl.
For those of you listening, and Dave, you can maybe correct me if I'm wrong here, but if you're just listening, it's a bit like, is it sort of shaped much like Oliver Twist's hands were when he said, "Please, sir, can I have some more?"
Yes, very similar. Probably
You know
more
what I mean? Is he's
consistent
like
in the range,
coming
but
up to
yeah.
a little less, and would you say slightly larger than an orphan's hands?
Well, they've got the mini ones and they've got the regular size. So the mini ones, I would say, similar size to an orphan's hand.
They're the
Is
Oliver
more an
Twists.
orphan. Yeah,
It's-
yeah.
it's
Or
a-
you can get
it's
the
an
orphan or the adult.
Yeah.
the orphan's portion.
Yeah. The orphan portion. Yeah. That's actually a diet that Autopasso has introduced. The orphan portion, where you eat like an orphan and the weight falls off you.
Fuck, it works though. It works. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, fucking hell.
The
Yeah,
results
yeah, yeah.
speak
Listen,
for
it's a little
themselves.
crash. You can imagine the testimonials. Listen, at first I thought eating like an orphan was a little on the nose, but then I lost 20 kilos and started to root again. So
That fucking
proof's
that
in
little
the pudding.
orphan Oliver Twist was onto something. That kid was onto
Oh,
something.
mate. Well, he was a visionary, Tom.
He was.
And probably
He
doesn't
was.
get the credit he deserves, Oliver Twist of
No.
diet fame.
Well, one of the earliest dietitians we had. Punters and Dribblers, the podcast, as always, is brought to you by our day ones, in essence, Neds, the number one betting platform of all time. I actually got so close, Eddie, to a fucking NFL bet yesterday on my Kansas City Chiefs as they humped Miami into the ground. Now, I didn't get it. I was a Travis Kelce away, and I felt dumb about that because I picked him purely on like Taylor Swift hype. But everything else, I got the line, I got their running back, got a touchdown, and then I fucked myself on Travis Kelce. But I fucked myself at Ned's, and I loved it. It's good fun, obviously responsibly.
That's all it is, mate. If you feel the itch to follow Tay into a bet, and by Tay I mean Tay into Travis Kelce, then you can do that at Ned's Punters and Dribblers. You know the drill. You can follow Tom and I if you so choose. You can follow About Even if you so choose. The passcode for the About Even group is Dribbler. Ned's is the best in the business. I've been over here in North America, also holidaying, but I've also been, running an eye over their betting operations over here. None of them hold a candle to Ned's. That's just a fact. Ned's is best in class worldwide. So if you're not punting with them, you're making a mistake.
That's it.
Thank you to Ned's.
Imagine what you could be buying instead. For free and confidential support, call the number on screen or visit the website.
I was out on Friday night, Edward. I'm emceeing a friend of the show, Will Hickey's wedding with his brother-in-law, soon to be. And so we were catching up to go over some shit, like what do I need to do? What do we need to be aware of? Of which, Hickey was across some of it, but less than you probably would have hoped given, coming there to get some info. We ended up just sitting there. Eventually, his fiancée came, Geordie, and we had a proper chat. But Daddy, shout out to Manly Skiff Club as well, one of the more beautiful places I've ever been to. But I reckon from about 3 till midnight, Daddy was on the margaritas exclusively. And then from about maybe midnight to, I don't know because I don't know how long it was, Daddy was on the toilet and he was booting. Now, Daddy also made a promise to one Stephanie Birmingham Nee Stankovic, mother to his children, wife of coming up on 3 years now, that he'd be up early on Saturday, kids to the beach, doing the right thing, da-da-da-da-da. Well, I erred. Is it erred? I erred. I made a mistake. I lost track of time. I lost track of myself. It was very out of character for me, but didn't get home till, gonna say 4.
Ooh.
4. Yep.
Wow.
You know, that's I'm not a naughty boy like that. I'm usually if I've got a curfew, I would say that I'm pretty good at sticking to it. And I don't usually have curfews, so, but yeah, late one. And then because she's a saint, she actually let me sleep in on Saturday.
So, did you break curfew? Were you given a curfew?
I wasn't given a curfew. I was like, don't worry, I'll be back. It's all good. I'll be up in the morning. Like, I won't have a massive one.
So where were you vomiting for 4 hours from midnight?
No, it wasn't 4 hours. I felt better after the vom, I think, and then I, kept going.
Yeah, so you've got that in you, which I've always found surprising. Like, you'll just duck off for a fucking hearty boot and then continue as if things are just,
like it
as
never
they
happened.
were. I'm guessing Tommy's margaritas? Would that be correct?
Yeah, that is correct. That is correct.
The agave syrup in there, basically like a sugar syrup, I think probably what did you in there, Tom, pounding them with reckless abandon. Were you doing 2 an hour? How many are we looking at here? Are we ruling out 18 margs? Is that too many?
I don't want to, I have no idea. I mean, I have zero idea. I was going, the sun was shining. It was a fucking beautiful day. They were tasting phenomenal. They were going down smooth. And then, the crew grew. So it was initially me, Hickey, and Mitch, and then Geordie came, and then Bracey and a couple other people rocked up, and, girlfriends, and everyone was there, and it was just and I just was, you couldn't wipe the smile off my face. I was just ready to go. I was excited. And sometimes you make bad decisions, but...
Where'd you end up?
I apologise. I ended up back at Hickey's house. That's where I blew up his bathroom. Much apologies. Many apologies. 1,000 sorries to you and to Geordie. I don't know. I'm pretty sure. Actually, you know what? I'm not pretty sure of anything. I don't know what state it was in. But I would assume I didn't leave it. I'm a stand-up guy. I don't know if I'd leave it in a bad way necessarily.
Can I ask you this? Have you still got the gig?
Yeah, as far as I'm aware, I still have the gig. I do. I think I left on good terms, but I can't be sure. Yeah. Anyway, I mean, do I still have, are you talking about the MC or am I still married? That's the
I'm talking about the MC. I'm talking about the MC because. Listen, if you'd gone in there and blown up the bathroom from both ends, which you've got in you, I dare say Geordie just goes, you know what? My brother's doing it, and we're just keeping it that way. It's simpler, it's easier. He can't be trusted. The bloke's an absolute fucking menace. He blew up the shitter and then stayed for 4 hours and then left. You know what I mean? Kept me up. Didn't flush. Didn't wipe down the porcelain. Didn't wipe down the floor.
Exactly.
If I'm painting worst case scenario here, Tom. Worst case. I don't think you've done that. Although maybe she's just letting the dust settle. Maybe she thinks a Tuesday message. This is Geordie here. Maybe a Tuesday message probably more appropriate. You know what I mean?
I called Hickey the next day just to sort of thank him for his hospitality and also for, just a generally fun day and everything else. And when I reminded him of the fact that I did blow up his bathroom, he didn't even remember. Well, as in he was like, oh yeah, that's right. So like, I'm assuming that he'd been to the bathroom within that time and there was no lingering, like scent of me. So that's good. That's positive. But again, I think a special shout out to my wife, who, if you're listening, great. But if you're not, that's also good. But I do thank you for being so forgiving. What a great woman.
Love that. What a great woman. I think that's a beautiful touch, Tom. Just a quick question. How's the bumhole holding up? It's all right?
Good. We're back. Yeah, we're back. We're back, and just looking now to I guess like build on what was an unideal start to 2024, rectally speaking, and just trying to, I guess, just get better every day. I'm going to be back in the lab with Jeff Athletic tomorrow, all keeping me on my feet. I still don't think it's time to sit down on an exercise bike, for example, but like, I think it'll all be like standing, maybe hit some mitts. Nothing that's going to put too much pressure on anything that doesn't need it right now. But yeah, I'm back.
You're back. Well, thank God for that, mate. I mean, I've been worried about you, obviously. You're always at the forefront of my mind and my worry and my concern. I'd just be getting in there tomorrow and saying, listen, Jeff, it's a new year, it's a new me, and let's just start fresh. Let's start at the start. And maybe he's got some rectal stuff that you can work on. You know what I mean? Maybe you do a bit of clench. Maybe you do a bit of clench work. Clenching.
I wonder if there's anything like...
If it works for pussies, it must work for bumholes, mate.
You would have thought so, right? And but I wonder if there's some sort of apparati that you could insert into the anal cavity, like goes up and then sort of opens out much like an arrow, so it can't fall back down. Attach some weight to that.
Or a fish hook.
Well, yeah, but I don't want to... I want to be able to get it out. So, a fish hook's a bit sort of like... Fish hooks for life sort of thing. You see great white sharks with a fucking hook in its mouth for like 50 years. I don't want that to be the fate of my asshole necessarily. No. Look like some fucking BDSM freak who's got fish hooks in his ass.
Listen, the first iteration's never going to be the one we go with, but we're just throwing around ideas here, and we're looking to strengthen. Not lengthen necessarily. We're looking to tighten and strengthen your bumhole so we can. Strengthen. So basically, this year you can jump back on an exercise bike from time to time. Yeah. You know what I mean? You can go to the shitter without bleeding. That sort of thing.
So that I can so that I can walk the streets with confidence. You know what I mean?
That's right.
It's about confidence.
Walk the streets. Walk the streets like a man who's in charge of his faculties, who's got control over his body, who looks like.
Call Dave's dad and say, listen. Stop sending the adult diapers. We don't need them anymore.
Don't need them anymore. Listen, I've fixed that problem. Job fixed.
Retired
Job done.
Adult diapers. I was going to say, Eddie, because we were, given that, going back to Josh, and we're still on the Six Pack City train, and, I'm sort of looking to... Not like new year, new me, fucking... I don't, you don't want to be the sort of person who just tries to get fit for 1 week, which is what we do every year. But 2024 is also going to be a year of gut health for me. So I just wanted you to know that, and I wanted everyone to know that, because I went to a doctor, and they basically said that my gut health is fucked. So I'm like, okay, cool. So it's now 2024 is a year of, Six Pack City. It's also a year of gut health. And you're the Manly Seagull.
And health generally, really.
Health general. Not just about getting jacked. That's obviously something that you and I will constantly strive for jackedness. Shout out to anyone with peptides, let us know. But general health, getting healthy, health generally.
100%. Health generally. Tom and I, just to sort of clarify the peptide comment, we have no idea what they are. We know that Stephen Dank was a big fan of them. We know that the Sharks were too, allegedly, or is that proven? I don't know.
I think it's just
Anyway.
easy to say.
Sure, allegedly. Let's just keep things squeaky clean, shall we? Stephen Dank, allegedly big fan of peptides. What's the go with them punters and dribblers? I know I don't want to Google it. I can't be fucked.
No.
I want someone to come in with information and go, yo, this is what you do. Also, what are the cons? What are the pros? Like, if...
Is this like
Tom and
steroids? Like,
I-
is this going to shrink your testicles and give you back knee? Or is it
I
like, no,
can't-
it's just
I
something
don't-
overblown?
Right. I don't want small testes and I don't want back knee. Let's start there. What I would say, though, is let's say Tom and I start cycling a peptide or two, and for reasons out of our control, we might have a huge weekend and then we lose all momentum for the next week. Just the next week, but that week we're also on the peptides. Is that going to be an issue? Like, if you sit there and do nothing except eat KFC... and you're on peptides, is that a problem? Like, how does that manifest? Does that fuck you up? Or, and again, I'm naive. I'm not. It's not my world. Or do the peptides sort of just do their job anyway? Like, if I'm going for a bit of a walk with the dog for 20 minutes, am I getting jacked if I'm on peptides? Like, that's sort of what the information that I'm looking for. But
but also, like, you know, you're not. If you're on peptides, Eddie, which we're not, we're just like, we're asking questions.
No.
Obviously, the general approach would be you'd be exercising, you'd be lifting weights, you'd be doing the right stuff for most of the time. But then every once in a while, you rip and you tear, as we all tend to do. And then maybe it's just walks for a week, or, you know, very minimal step counts, like dangerously low step counts for 5 to 7 days. Does
like
that
less than
completely
1,000, like less than a thousand a day. Sort
Yeah,
of thing.
no, bathroom to the bedroom to the shitter to the fridge to the bedroom to the couch, like really sort of minimal stuff, or to the front door, Uber Eats, KFC, whatever. Like, does that completely counteract everything you've done? Now, also, just while we're saying that, because obviously what we're describing there, Eddie, is like being severely like bounced out. Oh, what? Oh, what? Nothing. That was all. Don't worry. That's all I was saying.
Damn. That's all he's saying. Bounced out. We get it. We know what we're talking about. What I guess a different way of asking this question, Tom, would be like, okay, what if two really follically gifted podcasters approaching their mid-30s, one of them their early 30s, but middling around that number, were to go on a 7-day extravaganza to Sin City, Las Vegas, and they were also on the tides then? Is that good for the soul? Where does that leave you? You know what I mean?
What's
like,
how do peptides sort of mix with you know, like boozing?
do they mix? Are
Do they
they...
mix? Is it oil and water sort of stuff?
Is this oil and water, or is this like Nesquik and milk? You know what I mean?
I do have some info on peptides here. So peptides is like, it's a name for a large different group of things that are all amino acids, and there's a lot of different ones. Ozempic is actually a peptide. So peptides are also found in a lot of foods, just naturally, like eggs, legumes, like chickpeas, stuff like that. It's found naturally, so you can increase your eating of those. It does say, like anything, it's pretty safe if you're taking it in moderation, and you can get it prescribed from a doctor, peptide treatments, and, you know, that's all safe. It does say drinking on peptides can increase blood pressure, but it doesn't say it's going to kill you. I think if you're drinking, like, straight spirits, you might be okay, because it says staying away from, like, juice, wine, other sugar, high-calorie drinks.
Okay, so it's just pound techies and techies and tides is what we're talking about.
Techies and tides, baby. That's 2024. Techie and tides.
Yeah.
I have a really strong suspicion, Tom, like a really strong suspicion that you and I get fucking yoked this year.
Yeah, naturally, all naturally.
Like naturally, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
yoked.
well, naturally. Well, it sounds like they occur in naturally in legumes and shit. So, like, who's to say that I'm just not fucking?
Hey, it's like eating a
Hooning
fuckload of
legumes.
eggs and chickpeas, mate.
Yeah,
You know
that's
what
all
I mean?
it is. Also, Dave, while you're there, obviously I'm not going to trust anything you research, but if there's any negative impacts on gut health, because obviously that's important for 2024.
I'll get on that, but also it did say another thing peptides are good for is for keeping your skin like free of wrinkles and for keeping it nice and tight. It's good for skincare, peptides.
Is there a world, Eddie, where we've been sort of made to believe that peptides are bad because of Stephen Dank allegedly and the Sharks allegedly? Like, obviously, we're not professional athletes, right? So, like, we're not doing something that's giving us an unfair advantage in the world of athletic endeavor. We just want to be the best we can be. And if peptides are the way to do that, then why are they so maligned? Where is I still haven't really heard the, like, problem with them yet.
Tom, I'm just a 32-year-old male with shitloads of hair sitting in Mexico City, fresh after a taco lunch that'd make all men come, and I'm hearing of a wonder drug that's found in chickpeas and eggs that'll get me fucking yoked beyond belief and get my skin tight like I've had a fucking facelift. I'm trying to come up with even a theory as to why peptides are so maligned. They occur naturally in eggs and legumes, okay? They get you fucking yoked beyond belief, tick, and they get your skin tight as a baby's bottom, baby. Like, let's get fucking fair income right now. I don't know what the fuck the problem is. Steve Dank, allegedly, and the Sharks, allegedly, have done more damage to this poor, struggling wonder drug than I think many of us could have imagined.
It's got the potential to change yours and my life for the better here. I've only just started noticing signs of aging, really, because like every time I look at myself in the mirror, I sort of go, oh, that's basically the youngest man you've ever seen. That's a 25-year-old staring back at me. Obviously now, a little bit of gravity taking place, couple of fucking lines here and there, but not really. Obviously still good enough to enough where I can save it, right? I can stop the signs of aging with this wonder drug that is peptides, it seems.
Do they put peptides in, your L'Oreals and shit? They must.
Maybe. So the thing about peptides is that there are a lot of different peptides. So on your question, Tom, there are gut health specific peptides. There's BPC 157, which is derived from the stomach's gastric juices, and it activates your body's growth hormone receptors to increase blood flows and enhance healing and help your gut health and whatever. But there are also ones that are much more heavy in terms of growth hormones, which are the ones that the Sharks were using.
If you were, say, like, unwell, let's say you had cancer and you didn't know, and then you start getting on growth hormone, I don't think that's good. Now, obviously, you're assuming you have cancer before you start having, but I think what you want to have is a pretty clear understanding of where your body's at generally, and then we start getting on the heaviest growth hormone cycle possible without looking silly.
Done. 2024, baby, we're going to be fucking shredded, and I cannot wait.
Yeah.
I can't wait. I can't wait to see the look on my wife's face when she just sees an Adonis standing in front of her. Says she's hot and horny already. She's loving it. Think Brad Pitt and Troy, punters and dribblers. Think Brad Pitt and Troy when he comes back after killing people and he takes off his towel and he starts to wash down. That's what I'm thinking for myself.
And Rose
you got to set lofty goals.
Rose Byrne's there going, have I just been given the greatest role in cinema history? I just get to sit here and like wash off a dirty Brad Pitt and then chomp.
Yeah. I mean, she's technically his captive or whatever, but
I know, and obviously if you look too much into that, there's some problematic things around it. But if you sort of ignore that and just go for the that's really hot, then and it's a movie, they're acting, then it's just hot, I think.
Well, let's just reverse it for a second. Let's say you and I were taken captive by like Margot Robbie. You know what I mean? And then she wanted to fuck you, even though you're the captor. You're chained up and
I'm
shit.
the slave.
You're not saying you're the slave, and Margot Robbie's like, oi, like you're my slave, but I want to fuck you. What are you gonna say? No.
Oh no! Oh no!
Oh, fuck! Jump on me! Oh no! No.
No. Yeah, exactly. So it's there's context. Context matters.
Yeah. And Rose Burns saw Brad Pitt and said, "Yes, please."
Yeah.
She forgot
And
all
who
about the
wouldn't?
shackles.
If I was Brad Pitt's slave, I'd be saying yes, please. It doesn't need to be Margot Robbie. Obviously, a little bit more in my wheelhouse, sexual orientationally speaking. But if it's Brad Pitt in his prime, you're probably just saying yes anyway, right?
I think so. It's something to tell the grandkids. You know what I mean? Brad Pitt railed me in his prime. I think you just lean into that.
Peptide Brad put one through me in his prime.
Yeah, put one through me. Yeah, blew my back out. Loved it. Okay.
Primetime Pitt on the Tides.
Yeah. Primetime Pitt. Gave me a primetime route. Like a real fucking, you know what I mean? Like 7:30 Sunday night sort of stuff.
Anyway.
Yeah.
So your holiday's been good, mate.
Mate, it's been fucking nice. It's been very, very nice. It's moving too quick. Shock horror. But, having a fucking ball, mate. Hawaii was lovely. LA was good. Cold. Really cold. Was wintry. Like jumpers and shit, which I've never really experienced there before. But, mate, good. Just ate well, drank well. Drinking like a fish, Tom. Drinking like a fish. And loving every second of it. Shout out to the Americans, if I may, and I've said this before, but it needs mentioning once more, Tom, for their ability to free pour, and you're pissed after 2 cocktails. You know what I mean? That's all you need. In Australia, they're measuring every fucking meal. You need 50 to get a buzz on. Over here, baby, they just roll out the red carpet for you. 2 margaritas, 2 martinis, you're done. You're off to the races, which is fantastic. What isn't nice though, Tom, again, we've been over it in America, punters and dribblers, if you haven't been, you have your eyeballs ripped out, financially speaking. The dollar doesn't convert terribly well. There's taxes for everything. I was doing I was paying wellness taxes the other day, bro. Wellness taxes. I don't know what the fuck a wellness tax is. 1.5% wellness tax. You got state tax, federal tax. Then you got to tip the fuckers. I mean, it's never fucking ending. And why, for fuck's sake, they don't include taxes in their fucking pricing is beyond me. Why do I want to get surprised when I go to the till or when the bill comes? Why do Americans want to live that way? Don't you want to know things? Why don't you want to go, "Oi, this will be fun. Let's get up to the counter and guess how much this is going to cost." Why would you want to guess how much something is? Don't you just want to fucking know? Madness. And there's just taxes on taxes on taxes. Wellness tax was a new one. Tom never come across it before. Apparently they're starting to roll it out. But God knows what else is out there, mate. It's fucking lucky I wasn't there for too long, but it's unbelievable. That aside, having a fabulous time down in Mexico now. Mexico?
Where I don't speak. Great.
Mexico?
Yeah, better. Mexico.
Where I don't speak a lick of English, and Spanish rather, and not many people I've come across speaking much fucking English. So a lot of pointing going on at the moment, but that's all right.
Oh, really? I thought there would have been a little bit more, given.
Well, the guy at the hotel spoke English, but the where the taco restaurant we went to, no English, no Inglés. Is that how you say it? The guy that drove us from the airport, no Inglés. Again, I'm probably butchering that, but you know what holds us together, Tom? You know, as a people, as a species, laughter. Point and laugh. Just point and laugh at shit. We're having fun. We're jovial. I've got no fucking idea what you're talking about. You don't know what I'm talking about. We're pointing and we're laughing. We're having a great time. And I really appreciated him just sticking in there, the driver that we got back from the airport. At the start, he goes, Espanol? I said, nah, none. Zero Espanol. And he's like, perfect. Doesn't give a fuck. Just pounds out the Spanish the whole way home. He's pointing at stuff. He's recommending restaurants and all kinds of shit. I've got no idea what he was saying. But I liked that he was hanging in there. He was doing his best. I could see that he was trying to come up with words that sounded a little bit more English than Spanish. Didn't find any. In fact, found none. So, but
I find there's a fair bit of English in, like, there's some
like mezcal, mezcal, tequila, reposado, and yoho, all that sort of shit. You know what I mean? Taco.
I think they're just like Spanish words that you know. I don't think they're English words, you know what I'm saying?
But we bonded over mezcal, we bonded over tequila. We fucking bonded over those words. And tacos.
I love
it was
that
basically
the only
conversation.
Spanish words you know is just fucking alcohol.
And tacos.
And
I don't know if
taco.
tacos are Spanish.
The health and wellness tax that you were referring to, Eddie, is I think it's to do with companies. They implement that to cover their employees' health insurance. So you're essentially paying for the employees' health insurance to contribute to that.
Which is fucked, right? Like, oi,
that
just
sounds
pay
about
your own-
right.
just-
America's like the ultimate form of capitalism, where if you own everything, you just go, I'm not stealing, that's the wrong word. I'm going to take all the profits here. I'm going to take all the profits, and then you, the consumer, you can pay for their healthcare, you can pay for their fucking wage, you can pay for their living and shit. It's bold. Like, listen to this one. I sit in a car, an ad comes on, right? And they're like, it's about driving around a hot dog car. So it's a car that looks like a hot dog, right? And
Makes sense.
you've got to love hot dogs, but you've also got to love driving. That's what the ad's saying. They say that the yearly salary to drive 200,000 miles a year, which is like fucking, it was like 800 Ks or something a day. You had to drive this hot dog fucking van around. 800 kilometres a day is what the math is, I think. Anyway, I probably got it wrong. Some cunt will be like, that's
That
not
sounds
right.
like an absurd amount of kilometres a day.
35,000 a year
Jesus Christ.
to drive a hot dog around for fucking 12 hours a day. Isn't that insane? 200,000 miles divided by 365. 547 miles a day. Which is like
But how are you
800
doing that?
Ks.
How are you even doing that a day? Like, that just doesn't even seem achievable.
You'd need to be on the fucking ice, wouldn't you? You'd need to be high as a kite.
Yeah, but like, are you driving cross country or are you just driving around LA?
I think you're just fucking driving this thing. Like, you got to cover like 26 states or something. So you're on the road, but even still.
What an absurd job.
But that's America for you, mate.
Yeah, it is. It is America. Fucking oath it
And
is.
everything smells like weed. You get a waft of weed at least in LA every fucking 10 steps.
Now, do you find that enjoyable or not? Because I've heard some people, like, one of their main arguments about like not having weed in Australia is like, we don't want it to just smell like pot everywhere. I'm like, is that really the best reason you've got?
I could see where it's like some people would be like, I'm a bit over that. I could probably see that.
Right, but what
Doesn't
about the
really
smell of
bother
like
me.
garbage? You know what I mean? Like, what about just the smell of just like garbage generally?
Well, it's
Shit
better than
smells.
garbage. I give you that tip, Tom. It's better than garbage. Obviously, you can't smell it, so you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. But it's a lot better than
No, I
garbage.
don't.
Now, also in LA, Tom. Now, this is the future right now. They've got little fucking carts that are driving around everywhere delivering shit.
What, like
on the
driverless?
fucking driverless, like on the sidewalk. Like I look at a video of one. I'll send it through to you, Tobler, and you can insert it here. Like, you'll just be walking down the street and a car will just be driving past. When you get near it, it stops to let you go past, and then it just takes off down the road.
And what, so like it
Wild
knows what
stuff.
address it's going to and like it'll ring the doorbell or some shit? Like, how does it...
I have no idea, or maybe it alert you on your phone. Like, maybe it goes a little
Could you
siren
like
or
take something out of it if you wanted to?
I reckon you could pick it up and run with it and like try and smash it open, but it looked to me like it had a roller door that was locked. This thing also didn't look light to me. So, I mean, I don't know if the juice is worth the squeeze to like pick this thing up and try and smash it open to probably get out like a burrito or something. You know what I mean? What I found interesting about this robot thing more than anything was like how fucking little it affected me. You know what I mean? Like, it's just got to the point where this crazy shit's happening, like fucking robots are delivering food, and you're just going, whatever. You know what I mean? Not a big deal.
Yeah, play on.
You would think
Is what
something
it
like
is.
that would rattle you to the fucking depths of your core, but you just sort of nod and get on with it, right?
Yeah,
Weird.
nothing's that weird anymore. I was listening to
Nothing
I
is
think
that.
it was
That's a good point, mate.
Jim Norton was on Joe Rogan the other day, and he was like, because you know, Dave, you brought up the other day how there was like all those Jewish people that were like living in fucking tunnels under the ground in New York. Now there's all the footage of them climbing out of tunnels and all that sort of shit. And he was like, at any other point in fucking like relatively recent history, that would be like the most absurdly that would be the main news story. Like, what the fuck has been going on? But it's kind of just like, it's crazy, but there's like something crazy that happens, like that gets your attention somewhere else, and like there's just not enough time to consume all of these absurd stories that are going on. So now you got robots driving fucking burritos to people's houses. I'm like, yeah, you know what? That seems pretty fucking normal these days.
It's fucking weird shit, dude.
Yeah.
Like how far away are humanoids, mate? You know what I mean? Like they would just be walking down the street with fucking robots running next to you. Like that can't be that far away.
No, that's not far away. That's very close, I think. And like in terms of everything with AI, like from the sounds of it, and from the sounds of it meaning things I've peripherally heard and barely, retained, it's like that shit seems to improve so exponentially that like it's very close. Like general AI, I think is general AI the next bit where it's like general intelligence?
Well, general AI, they don't know when they. From what I've read about general AI, they don't think it's that close. They think it's like, it could be 100 years away, sort of thing.
And why is that?
Well, because they don't know how the brain works, so they don't even know. You can't really mimic it, they don't think, because they don't even know how our own brain works. Does that make sense?
On that, some Japanese scientists, I read this the other day, they created the world's first mental images with AI. So they basically hooked up someone's brain to an AI and were able to generate the image that that person was seeing in their head through AI. And so now they're talking about like mapping dreams and stuff.
Oh, great. It's all getting a bit hairy, fucking McClary from Donaldson's Dairy for me, to be honest.
Yeah, it is. I keep looking at like farmland. I'm like, I just think I need to like have somewhere that doesn't even have to have any property on it, just like a plot of land out in the fucking sticks where I can run away to when things get hairy. Now, obviously, all it would take to overthrow me in my farmland is someone with a gun who like has just even the faintest idea how to live in the outdoors, and I'd be fucked. But at least I could prolong for just a little while. You know what I'm saying?
You're almost leveraging what I heard recently about billionaires building bunkers. Have you heard about this? Like all the billionaires
I have,
building
dude,
fucking bunkers and shit.
Is that
wigging you out? Is that wigging you out?
Yeah, that did wig me out. That wigged me out reading that. I'd seen it on
I don't know if that's true. I don't know if that's true or what the fuck, but I know Mark Zuckerberg is building a serious bunker in Hawaii, apparently, which is like off the chains wild. Then I just, I can't help but start thinking about our little green mates in the fucking sky who we just keep seeing time and time and time again. And now I'm like, listen, is there an invasion fucking pending that only rich people know about? Like, what's doing? Yeah. What's going on?
But like, listen, obviously I wouldn't have a bunker, right? But if I've got like a plot of land, like are the aliens going to come for me, or is the whatever going to happen? Is it going to fuck me on my plot of land where like, I'm just like, listen, take the cities, leave me alone. The problem is that
take the cities.
The people in the city then come for you. It's a bit fucking Last of Us. Everyone just starts to spread out, and it's like, well, now I've got this plot of land, but am I going to be able to defend it? Fuck no. I can't even keep my kids out of this fucking room.
Listen, I don't have much Last of Us about me, I don't think, you know what I mean? I'd probably just have to succumb early and get it over and done with, you know what I mean? Yeah. Probe me. Yeah, first in line to be probed,
bite
and then
me, kill me.
Probe me and kill me, and then I'll just be fucking, that'll do, you know what I mean? That'll do. Yeah. Anything happening in sport over there, or is it just Jason Saab getting a beautifully elegant and understated tattoo? Is that about it?
Dude, that Maryland's on his back is one of the purest fucking things I've ever seen. Like, it is fucking gorgeous. Now, listen,
Chef's
that's obviously
kiss.
the biggest news in sport in Australia at this point. Like, so it was, it's correct and it's right and it's appropriate that be the first sports story we talk about, an hour into our sports podcast. The Maryland's tattoo across the back of the fastest man in the history of NRL, Jason Saab, who's just, what it is as well. What I like about it, Eddie, is like, it's the appropriate next step on the career progression of Jason Saab. Like, leave the Dragons, number one, smart move. Come to Manly, breakout year, fast as fuck. Then I think lead the try scorers thing the year afterwards, another great year. Then have a year where people start doubting you, like, oh, is he really up to it? Well, he needs to improve this. He's not physical enough. Oh, sick. Let me put in a couple of kegs and become a man and have my best season ever last year. Now it's like, okay, I'm an established great winger. I have dreams of representative honours. I think I can go to the next level. If I'm in like a video game, it's like now I've got a bit of money to spend. Like, I'm going to go down to the tattoo parlour and get my fucking hometown blasted across my back. And now
That's the
he's
5-step
ready to
plan.
rip and tear. That's it.
That's
Now
the
it's
5-step
like,
plan.
I mean, I don't call it now. What's fucking is there a market on NRL top try scorer for 2024? Because if there isn't,
Mate, it's a lot.
if there is, it's Jason Saab. It is Jason Saab.
It's an absolute lock. It's part of Jason Saab's 5-point plan. The fifth and final step, obviously, adorn the body with the Maryland's tat, get it as big as physically possible, and then go out there and score a fuckload of tries for the Manly Warringah Seagulls. I mean, what a fucking plan that is. Load up punters and dribblers now with our good friends at Ned's, because that's houses, that bet. That bet is as safe as houses. If you believe in omens, like Tom and I do, that's an omen.
We will alert you on the odds for that when they come to hand, if they are currently available on Neds. But that was the biggest news story, Edward. You are correct. And friend of the show, Jason Saab, proud of him. I hope we get to see him when we're in Vegas, because I'll be asking for a photo with the tattoo. I will be. I want to see it.
You can bet the fucking last dollar you got, mate. That's exactly what we'll be doing.
That's what we'll be doing. Getting a photo with the Mary. It's like the Hollywood tattoo event. Like it's the Hollywood sign for rugby league is the Maryland's tat on the back. Of
You want to get it.
Saab.
You want to get a photo with the Maryland's tat. 100%.
Now the other things that were in the news. So, couple of things with the Dragons, Eddie. Not that anyone gives a fuck, but you want to talk about. It's funny. I don't want to throw shade at our good friends over at Bloke in a Bar and their Monday podcast, but there's a very good chance that they jinxed the Dragons. Now they're already a shit club, the DMC Dragons, but the guys were on there talking about how good they're looking at the moment. Like a couple of months ago, you may not have been saying it, but now that like how good they're looking. Volkman's over there. They've got all these plays. Everything seems to like coming together a little bit, and then bang, Ronald Volkman. They find out that he was a signing from the Warriors. Find out he's got a shoulder injury. Don't register his contract. Corey Allen, who has played Origin but has been sort of bouncing around from the Rabbitohs to the Roosters to the Bulldogs maybe, and now to the Dragons. ACL out for the season. Feel sorry for all of those injured players who now can't play, but I think that Kempy has jinxed his own club.
And also, Volkman was only signed because they had to deregister the contract of Talatau Amone after he was convicted of something. So,
I believe it was a hammer attack on a tradie, but you can look into that yourself. We didn't want to cover that one too much given the serious nature of it, but a hammer attack on a tradie. I will say this. There are times, I would imagine, when you have builders working on something for you and they say it'll be done by this date and then it's not, where in the darkest recesses of your mind, you could imagine attacking them. I'm not saying with a hammer, I'm not saying you want to kill anyone, but I'm saying you could see that happening. Unfortunately, the reality is that it's not okay to act on that impulse.
No, it's not, Tom. No, it's not. And that's just a lesson for the kids out there. Don't act on your impulses if it involves a hammer and a tradie. Just fucking, just chill out. You know what I mean?
Just chill the fuck out.
Just chill out. Well, that's great. I like the bloke in the bars. Denon Kemp's cursed his own side. Obviously, one of the Dragons' greatest ever players. Pretends like he's a fucking Bronco. Only played a handful of games for them, if my memory serves me correctly.
He's a favourite son of the Dragons.
That's right. But early curses get get blood flowing to the shaft if it involves a DMC. Tom always has, always will.
The Tigers sacked Fulton before he even had a fucking real crack at the job.
Love that. So what? 2 months in, that's perfect stuff.
2 months
Obviously
in, he's
not a
been
whole lot of
sacked.
synergy.
No. You take a couple of Manly's great junior players and then they fuck him off.
Nice. We love that. That's strong, powerful stuff.
Then a couple other ones we whip through because my children are becoming stir crazy and there is a limit to the control I will have over them. Zoe back hanging off the door. Come in. You're okay. David Warner. Fresh.
The helicopter.
The helicopter to the Big Bash game. I just think that, people wonder about the state of cricket in Australia. Where's it going? Like the state of the Big Bash. Like what's happening? When you can be chopper in and out of games, the game it's a healthy game. It's a healthy game.
It's a healthy game.
Big Bash is alive and well.
He was really feeling himself, David Warner, when he came in that chopper, wasn't he? When he gets out, thumbs up to the crowd. Really, really big fan of his own work, which I liked. I like seeing it. Not every day you get to chopper onto the SCG. Obviously, hallowed turf, punters and dribblers, best cricket stadium in the world. We all know it's true. I like it. I like seeing it.
So do I.
You know what it is? It's pomp and it's pageantry, mate, and cricket gets that. Rugby union could fucking use a couple of lines out of that bloody hymn sheet because what put bum on seats and eyeballs on screens? David Warner getting a chopper to the fucking game. I mean, that it writes itself, punters and dribblers. I think that's beautiful
really
stuff from the Big Bash. That's paid for itself, surely. Paid for itself already.
You would have had to have thought so. Now, obviously, I mean, there's a part of me that thought that maybe Dave's brother would have moved his wedding just to accommodate Dave. But I think the better outcome was a chopper onto the ground.
Pretty selfish of his brother, really, if we're going to get fair income. Probably could have moved it for his big bro or little bro. Don't know what the fucking order is. But the chopper will do, mate. The chopper does the job. He gets there on time. Do they lose? I think that's a nice bit of poetry.
They did
lose,
yeah.
Yeah, we love that. That's beautiful stuff. That's the way it should go. Chopper from your brother's wedding, leave that early, get to the ground, lose. Chef's kiss. Congratulations to the Big Bash League. That is fucking terrific.
We love that. Now, there's a couple of things here we just got to get to before we wrap up. One, obviously, being now that Smudge officially the new opener for Australia, just so that Baggy Green can get in the side at number 4. I like it. I like it. Sure, Cam Bancroft's upset. I get it. He fucking was like, what more could I do? There's no more you could have done, Cam. That's the reality. You couldn't do any more. Like, you could have literally, you could have had the great Sir Donald Bradman living within you through osmosis, much like I did in my famous 2021-22 Thick Ropes County 11 season. But you don't. But even that wouldn't have got you back in the side because Smudge said, you know what, I'll open. And Smudge said as much. He goes, look, it's not actually about me wanting to, just add another little fucking, complete the career mode of cricket. Obviously, that's a part of it. I like the challenge. But he's like, I actually just want to get Baggy Green in the side. That's how good he is. And is Baggy Green a better player generally, as we lose Eddy? Is Baggy Green a better player generally than Cam Bancroft is across the board? Are we a better side having Baggy Green in there who can bowl as well as bat? And we've got Smudge up the order. I'd say we are.
And Field in the gully.
And Field in the gully. Mitts as big as fucking catcher's gloves. I'd say, and being someone who has no fucking idea what they're talking about, that just seems like the better option. Now, there has been some pauses in this podcast due to general lag. We are speaking across the oceans, the seas. But currently, Eddy's just disappeared. Now, that could be down to a laptop charger. It could be an internet connection. I'm not sure. What it does make me realise, though, is that people who sit there and do podcasts all by themselves and just talk to the camera, it's an art, it's a skill, and it's an acquired taste. I don't know that I would be able to do this for an extended period of time. I could do it for some time, sure. But for like, what, fucking hours on end? Or every week? Every episode? I don't think so. Now, the other one, and we'll wait to, Eddy will come back and we can have a discussion with him when he returns. I don't know if any of you heard this out there in the land of punt and of dribble, but the AFL, in what can only be described as the most AFL thing, maybe of all time, have removed from their like pre-season like book that they give out, which has got like all the data and facts and shit on all the clubs and all the teams and all the players. They've removed players' weights, as in how much they weigh, from the fucking book, because it's not it doesn't matter anymore. Here we go. Is he back? Is the kid back?
Kid's back.
Battery died?
Nah, it's just the
Just
internet
dropped out.
is not super stable.
Well, look, it's been good up until this point. Eddy, the final note I've just been touching on with the punter and the dribbler, because make no mistake, I continued while you were gone.
Good.
The AFL,
Good.
the AFL have, so there's like all these preseason books, like it's a preseason magazine or a book that comes out with all the club data, player data, stats, whatever they're.
Oh yeah. This is fucking ridiculous.
They have so they've removed the player weights from that thing, the booklet or whatever it is, saying that it no longer like bears any relevance, or like it's not necessary information. And you're like, listen, guys, it's a professional sport, so the physical condition of the athletes kind of is important. Like if you, and like in rugby league, it happens all the time where like Latrell's a bit out of shape, or fucking, Josh Schuster gets it fucking every other day, right? Like, it's not about fat shaming. It's like there's a certain standard that you need to uphold being a professional athlete, and there are certain things like, why not? Let's not fucking focus on their verticals. Some people can jump higher than others. It's not like, why would we be shaming people on the ability of that they have to jump or not jump, or like, what about, it's not fair because Luke Brooks is way smaller than fucking Jason Saab. He's not going to be able to jump as high. Like, how is it not relevant?
What I don't get is that what it does is it provides context to the player. So like, okay, I can formulate in my mind what's going on. Oh, this guy's fucking 2 meters, but he also like, maybe he's 90 kilos, so he's a bit leaner than someone else. Or this guy's like fit because he weighs 120. Like, okay, I can start to paint a picture in my head. They are professional fucking athletes, particularly in the AFL, all in incredible nick. Is anyone sitting there going, ooh, he's a bit heavy, he's a bit light? None of us know what the fuck we're talking about. The only ones that know are the strength and conditioning coaches that have, and they know it on a bespoke level to be like, oh, we'd like you to be maybe 2 kilos lighter, but they're not writing that in the book. Oh, trainer wishes that fucking Buddy was 2 kilos lighter. You just get their fucking weight and you move on. It's the most pathetic, beta, lefty bullshit I've ever fucking heard in my life, and it's fucking, it makes me sick. Like, what are these losers doing sitting in this fucking meeting? Go out and do something productive, because what you're doing is fucking utter madness. And to be honest with ya, I'm starting to look at you as like an organisation, like as a body, or whatever the fucking word is for like running the game, and as an administration, and I'm starting to ask serious questions about your sanity, because this is absolutely fucking insane. Weight and height, amongst other things, are like part and parcel of what it means to be an athlete. Not just an athlete, but just in general. Like you and I always ask each other what our weight's doing. Why? Because we're curious, and it gives a bit of a fucking insight into what's going on. Or if you're an AFL player, you're in impeccable nick. They all are. So I don't know what we're doing, what we're protecting them for. It's not like there's big, huge fatties running around in the AFL like, oh, we can't fat shame them. What are we talking about? They're all fucking.
Also,
they run fucking 20 Ks a game. What in God's name are we talking about?
But also, weight is important and weight
Yes.
is relevant, and it's
Yeah.
a critical marker that fucking that people use to like work out your health, your BMI. Oh, you're this tall and you're this fat. Well, maybe you should actually lose some weight because you've got like fat around your fucking organs. Your weight is relevant. To say it's not relevant, you know what's not important? What some fucking losers in AFLHQ think about weight. Like, no. You don't decide what's no longer relevant, you dumb fucks. Like, it's... You're making weight weird. Stop making it like... You're the ones
you're
who
making,
are, like,
you're
making
making it weird now.
You're making it weird. Like, oh, fuck, no, we can't talk. It's like, no. It's all good. You can. Same way you can talk about expectations around fitness and expectations around speed and expectations around athleticism. It's all part of it. Now, sure, you don't need to go up to some fatty on the street who's wearing a Fitbit that looks like it's about to explode off their fat wrist. Like, you don't have to do that, right? But to pretend like it is not important or at least an indicator amongst other indicators of someone's overall general health is just fucking insanity. And to actually make it a point in a professional sport where it is more relevant and more important than in any other fucking job is bonkers.
Tom, we've reached a point now where it's acceptable to have visceral fat around your main organs and you'll be in an early grave by like decades. Like, that's sweet, that's cool, but you're not allowed to talk about a professional athlete's weight. Like, you're not allowed to do that. Like, oi, by all fucking means, you big fat tub of lard, like, go and die 30 years early because that's cool, but like, there's no way in the world we're going to talk about professional athletes' weights. Because that's not cool.
I mean, but like, on the flip side, you wouldn't be like, I'm just sort of saying this is coming to my mind, so I haven't really fucking excavated whether this is even right or not. But like, you wouldn't hold back from telling someone who was had an eating disorder where they were starving to death, like, hey, you need to eat something because you're going to kill yourself. Do you know what I mean? You'd be going, hey, this is unhealthy. Stop what you're doing. You wouldn't be like, hey, everyone's got a different body type. Everyone's cool. It's all good. Like, there's a reality to life, and you can be unhealthy on both ends of the spectrum here. But like, let's not be precious about someone's feelings when their fucking longevity is on the line. Let alone when you're an AFL player and there's no issue about longevity. It's just about them being fucking, can you run 20 Ks in a game?
Completely agree, Tom. Absolute madness. Complete and utter madness.
Is it not the most Victorian?
Not
is it not the most Victorian AFL decision? Like,
it's very Victorian. It's very, very AFL. It makes me sick, to be honest. But I'm not shocked.
Ridiculous.
Like, when I read it, I go, that's the most AFL thing I've ever heard in my life. Yeah. And I've heard some very AFL things before. So for this one to take the cake, so to speak, then you've needed to impress me, and you've done that.
But I imagine as well the AFL players, like, en masse, most of them would still be like, that's ridiculous.
But the player weights are all still up on the club websites. It's just that the AFL body decided not to include that in their publication, the AFL record or whatever it is. So it's not like they've banned them from, like, posting it.
Yeah, losers.
No,
Losers.
but I mean, I would imagine the club probably could ultimately make that decision. But the thing is, they've made a point of it. They've made a point of coming out and being like, oh, it's not relevant anymore. Like, it's just like, stop with this shit, dude. Stop with it.
Losers.
Relax. What do you think, Dave? This is one of those things where I think you've got a common sense mind, but then obviously you are captured by the absurd section of society. So I don't entirely know where you will sit on there. Sometimes you surprise me.
I just don't think it's as much of an issue as people are making it out to be. Like I said, the information's still up there on player websites. If the AFL doesn't want to put it on their record or whatever, then whatever. I was also reading an article about this, that they stopped doing the skin fold tests at drafts a couple of years ago. They stopped doing that in 2021 because apparently the science wasn't completely there can be outliers or whatever, so it wasn't a great way and it was affecting people's mental health. So yeah, I don't really care. They can do what they want.
Right. So you're happy with people like with a governing body, like someone who's in charge, like being able to do what they want with their business, but just not as it pertains to, like, say, Elon Musk with Twitter or something like that.
Well, for their business, well, it's not really their business. It's their
Got him,
the
yes.
players are
Got him,
contracted.
got him, got
the players
him.
are contracted to the AFL. The business would be the
Got
clubs.
him.
So the clubs are still
Correct.
doing that.
Wrecked.
Got him, yes. Got him, yes.
Absolutely wrecked.
Elon Musk can ruin Twitter all he wants.
Got him,
We're
yes.
still going to enjoy it.
Got him, yes. Got him, yes.
Got him. Fellas,
Gentlemen,
I
it's
think
been a
that's us.
pleasure. I got to get ready for dinner.
Yep, and I've got to go and deliver on my promise of sushi train and macarons.
Love
at
that.
11 in the morning. So love ya. Shout out to the pun on the dribble.
Love ya.
This Thursday we've got the great and the powerful Louisa Dalden of We Mean Well fame joining me on the podcast. So
Cute. Love it.
I'll see
Love
you for
it.
that.
And I'll see you in a week's time. Punters and dribblers. Love you all very much.
Bye bye.
Could you two just not talk anymore?